And but the first step on this whole thing is to take the strings off. So, okay, the next thing we need to do before we take the these screws out, I take it back. We need to take the springs off in the back. So let's flip this around. Okay, so to take the springs off, just kind of pull forward and pull up a little bit, and they just pop right out. Pretty easy. Just lift up, pop them out. There we go. And we're also putting a new claw in. So let's this thing here. Yeah, I'm going to unsolder the ground wire on this. Yeah, I'm going to solder the wire on the new claw here, but I'm going to put it really. I'm going to solder it low on the. Got some really junk solder. And what I'm doing here is I'm taking this a little screwdriver like this, and I'm just gently slipping it all the way under here. That way that lifts the whole line up, and then I'm going to put a piece of tape right under here, and I'm lining up right on the edge. This is just so I can get them roughly back in place again, so I don't have to do a whole complete setup. Okay. Now I'm going to take a pencil, and I'm going to mark right where that edge comes. So that down the line we're going to be able to set the new one up exactly in the right spot. And it's, you know, this is to give you a still going to have to do a little tweaking on these settings to get them right in, but this it's just so that you don't have to start from scratch to set everything up when you take this apart. Okay, out here, and this is all there is to it. Then this lifts out. It lifts out like so. And then match them up individually to the one and set them up identical. And then when this goes, the new one goes in, it should be pretty much in line. Okay, well, what we have here now is the old bridge right here and the new bridge with the new saddles and the new trim block. And what I want to make sure that that I do here is match this to the appropriate ones here, because we're going to be adjusting these heights. So what we're going to do next is take all these apart, but make sure you keep these in order. You know, just keep them in their proper position when you're working on them. Keep these together at this point, and that way you'll have your height adjustment when you put this thing back together, or at least you'll be pretty darn close, and that's what we're looking at. Okay, now we're starting on the new bridge. Now we need to take all these off from here, so allow yourself plenty of time to do this. Take these all off, but keep the orientation right. When you take one off, put it right here. Just line up 2 rows to start with. Thanks. Yeah, these are different thicknesses, which I mean these can be different thicknesses here, saddles between the two. But what really counts is in this setup to get things sort of back to where they were is where the string hits here. These 2 points need to be the right height, and these side to side the up and down side to side adjustments are also important. But this is probably going to be the key one, that where the string meets the saddle right here. I'm continuing to make my height adjustments, and as I was saying before, you got these things when you adjust this height. Look at this here and the top of this, and bring them together, and just take your time. I could use more light on this to see this better, but and then I do a double check again, you know, and there again you can take a string, maybe take a string and lay it across here and see if it's, you know, it looks like my new saddle's a little higher than the old one still. So I'm going to try to get these close in this setup, and then it'd be a good time now to take that tape that we did before, and then put it right along this top edge of the new bridge. And you can align it up with those there's little screw pressure marks on the tape that happen when and just set this thing right in place, right there. Now we have our place for alignment. And actually, as we finish these, you know, rather than putting the saddles to one side, as we finish these, let's put them back right onto the bridge right away. That way we won't mess up. So just screw them back, and now these little lines that I put on the tape, now just merely bring them to the same position that they were on the old bridge. And got a little ways to go here yet. Okay. I'm going to bring them, as you look straight down onto this new saddle, I'm going to allow myself to see the line, because that's where I know that's where they were on the old bridge. So, okay, and this is a low E string. Excuse me, it's a low E string. So that one's done and mounted. And so now as we make our adjustments on here, we'll put them directly in their proper positions on the new bridge. Okay, mounting the the last saddle here, and I'm real excited about this whole thing. Just bring it up to that line that on the tape. Okay, I'm just putting the last screw in here, installing the bridge. I'm not gonna. It's extremely tight. I'm gonna pull back a little bit on this, just so it floats a little bit. Screws went through. That's okay. Okay, I'm going to put my springs on here, and they just slide in these little holes. And I had 4 strings that came with this. So what I'm going to do is to distribute this properly. And this is just my thinking. I'm going to put the 2 on each end. The center one will remain up here, and the way I do these are sort of like that. You know, that tension's about right. I think that's pretty good. Yeah, it's pretty good for now. Dropping in. Easy, man. Easy as fishing. Okay, let's see this one. That's where I did my little solder thing. Okay, and pull this over. Alright. Get on there, little boy. Together again. Okay. And alrighty, I'm gonna put the last string in here. Alright. I'm gonna do a little demonstration with my Squire Fender Stratocaster that I just put the new killer guitar components bridge. Thank you.